I can start. Yes. So, a very good morning to all of you. I'm Madhulika. Welcome to yet another Zoom call organized by Jungle Bells. Jungle Bells is a venture exclusively for women started by women. We conduct women only trips across India to all the wildlife destinations. We also conduct tours in and around Pune. So, the sole purpose of our venture is to promote conservation. Before we begin, I would like to request all of you to turn off your cameras off and switch off your microphones. If you have any questions for the guests, please type them in the chat box and we will address them after their talk. Also, if you want to receive further communication from us about our events, please type in your email ID and phone number in the chat box. Now, heading towards today's webinar. So, today's webinar topic is Learn the Success Behind the Success. Learn the story behind the success of Tadoba. And we have a wonderful guest speaker. His name is Mr. Anant Sunamani. At present, he is working as an executive editor of Tadoba Diaries, communications officer at Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve Conservation Foundation. Looking at his wonderful journey, he is a passionate wildlife enthusiast and environment conservation worker. He is also a writer, columnist, and a speaker. He has been active in the development sector for over a decade. He holds 20 years of experience in hardcore television and print journalism in Mumbai. 6+ years of experience in the corporate sector as a senior strategy resource. He's a keen planner, strategist, networker, and implementer. Have an eye for details. He has also led teams of different sizes on several complex projects. So, welcome Anand sir
Thank you
on
very
this
much.
webinar. And this is all about his wonderful journey. Without further ado, let's get started. I request Hemangi ma'am to take the wildlife conservation forward with Anand sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhulika.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Anand. A very good morning.
Hi, good morning.
We have viewers on Zoom as well as we have viewers on FB also presently. So this concept came, the idea came to our minds to get you on board because you've been working very closely with Tadoba. Tadoba is also very dear to all of us, as in it, in terms of its popularity.
I'm
It has
sure.
a place on a world map now. So just to give you an example, like Africa has Kruger, and similarly, now India has Tadoba. So everyone knows about it. Everyone wants to, some or the other time visit it and know more, have more knowledge about it.
Absolutely.
So just a few questions to ask, and then you are free to share whatever you would like also. So how would you describe your wildlife journey? You can sum it up.
So, Himangi, it all started some 15 years back. Me and my wife had gone to Tadoba. We had heard about it, but we had really never been to Tadoba, and we were not wildlife lovers per se. We just wanted to go somewhere for a vacation, so we chose Tadoba. There was no other reason. And once we reached there, we were amazed by the beauty of that jungle. That was our first experience of jungle. It was just two of us. We had no experience at all, and then we saw a beautiful bird flying by. It has a fluorescent blue color wings, and we were like, oh my god, what kind of bird is this? We have never seen this bird. It was Indian roller. We got to know it later. And then one after another, we got to see a lot of birds. We were not fortunate enough to see a tiger in that particular visit. To be very frank with you, uh, I saw my first tiger 4 years after I started my wildlife journey. So that was my first visit of Tadoba, and then me and my wife, both of us fell in love with Tadoba. After that, we started visiting a lot of jungles, and then we realized that we have to have an organizational structure wherein we can meaningfully contribute to the conservation, to the cause of conservation, and then some like-minded people, like-minded friends came together, and then we founded a small NGO called Indian Ecologic Foundation. we still undertake very small projects and do our bit for the sake of conservation. That's
All
how the
right.
journey actually started.
Okay. Okay. That's so wonderful to know that it just started off from a visit, and there you are, you've completely owned Tadoba and you know every inch of it now. So it's really nice to know. So you just spoke about Tadoba. So in one word, I would like to ask you, what is Tadoba for you? What does it mean?
So, being a Maharashtrian, being an Indian, you must be knowing what is Pandharpur to the Warkaris, right? So
Yeah.
that is what Tadoba is for me. I'm sure for you and all of us who are present here and who are listening to this conversation. So
Yes.
uh, it is a solace. It is a comfort. It is everything for us.
Okay.
I mean, the wildlife lovers.
Correct.
It is like second
Correct.
home. Now it is a second home for
Absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. I get your point. It's like this for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so we know Tadoba is I should not call it tiger centric, but it has more population of tigers. The sighting is slightly easier than the rest of the forest, owing to the landscapes, etc., etc. So the highlight has always been a tiger. So, but I always advocate that Tadoba has much more than tigers, and it has other flora fauna also. So, but as we're speaking about tigers, I would certainly like to know, why do you think has it become this way, that the population of tigers has always been on a higher side in Tadoba, and have made the tigers are also very comfortable in that kind of a
Absolutely.
landscape. So
Absolutely.
why would you say that?
So, a small correction, it has never been always been like that. So, maybe some 2 decades back, it was not the situation. So, what has happened over the years? Uh, Basically, the conservation efforts that are put in are tremendous. Very meticulous planning has been put in place, and the amount of efforts that the forest department has put with in coordination with the local communities, I think that is the main main point, main thing behind the success of start Tadoba. So it has not happened overnight, or within a year or two. It has
Right.
taken 2 decades almost.
Okay. Okay.
So there was a situation when people used to visit Tadoba and they did not used to get sighting, and
Correct.
now you know what it is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's right. Very well said. Very well said. So, what see, conservation is a very important angle. You also agree. I agree. There are a lot of other people working towards conservation, I'm sure. There is much more awareness for conservation now than just the tourism, because we know that if we do something for the forests and wildlife, we will get more of it, or we will get to experience it for more years uh, than going ahead for future. So
Absolutely.
it's extremely important, because if the forests are there, we are there. So it's just not, so tourism is also equally important. But what do you think is the conservation model which is adopted by Tadoba as of now? So what are the efforts for conservation for Tadoba?
Yeah, so I'm very glad to tell you that the conservation model that Tadoba has adopted is very unique, in the
Okay.
sense it is not only about the efforts by forest department. It is also about uh, the contribution by the stakeholders. So who are all these
Right.
stakeholders?
Right.
uh, Most important stakeholder is the local community, right?
Absolutely.
If they are against your so called conservation efforts, your
Right.
efforts will never succeed.
True.
Tadoba understood this at the very early stage, and then they incorporated these people in these efforts. How did they do that? So basically, uh, we need to we need to understand that only environment doesn't work.
Correct.
Whether you like it or not, it has to go in hand with economics. So that is what we exactly do.
Right.
We incorporated people, we gave them job opportunities, uh, we make them part of this process. So, for
Right.
example, like you were talking about tourism, right? So, Tadoba's tourism model is very unique.
Right.
They uh, Local communities are always welcome in this all these tourism efforts. What are they doing? Currently, we have around 350 safari guides with us, and all of them are from the local villages, the villages which are on the fringe of Tadoba.
Right.
I'm
Right.
happy to share that out of these around 350 guides, around 30 are females. So
Oh,
Tadoba was the
wonderful.
first tiger reserve who gave an opportunity to the female guides to take the tourists along on the
Absolutely.
safari. Yeah.
Yes.
So then these safari drivers, they are all locals. The entry
Right.
gates, Tadoba has 21 gates right now, and all the gates are manned by local communities. The security posts which are there inside the Taroba, they are there also. The local communities are employed. These are all
Right.
direct employments to the communities. Apart from
Right.
that, there are multiple indirect opportunities are created. Like because of tourism, resort and hospitality industry flourished. Where would they get manpower from? They are
Correct.
getting their manpower from obviously the local villages.
Right.
So slowly, all these people came to understand that tiger, forest, everything is good for them. It is
Right.
bringing money to them,
Correct.
right? Earlier, what used to go do? What used to happen? They used to go to jungle. They used to go to forest, and they were completely dependent on it. But forest department changed it. Now
Right.
people don't need to go to forest. They have their alternative livelihood options outside the forest.
Correct.
Though
Correct.
the businesses are dependent on forest, on tourism, but they
Right.
don't need to go inside the forest. That is what really
Absolutely.
helped conservation efforts.
Correct. Correct. That is so wonderful because I have also been visiting forests for the last maybe 10 years now,
Yeah,
over 10 years plus. So Tadoba model has been something which has really been, you know, the locals as well as the forest department working together.
absolutely,
So
absolutely,
it has worked wonders, and the locals, for that matter, also know that without tiger hai, to hum hai. So
absolutely.
you have to save the tiger. That's why we are there. So why are buffers coming up? Frankly, so it's the coexistence of the villages as well as the
So
animals.
I would like to add something here. So
Yeah.
as I told you, currently we have 10, 20, 21
Right.
gates, and out of which 16, 17 are in buffer. So
Right.
earlier, people they had a lot of doubts. I mean, what will happen if
Right.
there is a entry gate? Then we'll have a lot of restrictions, etc. And
Correct.
now they have realized that with an entry gate, the whole village flourishes. The tourism
Absolutely.
comes in,
Agree.
resorts come, and then a lot of other related businesses like lenses on hire, etc., etc. And
Correct.
now the villagers are behind department. हमारे यहाँ भी एक आध गेट कर दीजिए सर.
Yes.
You know, they
Yes.
are
That
willingly
is.
coming forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think that
that
is
is the real success.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely,
very much believe. So it has given livelihood, as you correctly said, to so many people in and
absolutely,
around, the
absolutely.
forest itself. So I'm very happy. So that is really hats off to this kind of a model. So what are the painstaking efforts involved? So we were speaking about a lot of points here, which we had discussed over the call. So one is protection squads are there.
Right.
There's habitat management. So can you just briefly, just go through them? And also, Anand, if you would like me to share your presentation after this, then we will go through it for
Yes,
our
yes, you
audience
can.
also.
Yeah, yeah, you can share it. No problem.
Yeah.
We
So
we have
after
a
this
slide
point,
on it on habitat management and
okay. Okay, so should I share the presentation?
Yes,
right
yes,
now?
absolutely, absolutely.
Just give me a minute. So here we are. I'll start. Yes.
Yeah.
You can just tell me to change the
Yes,
slide
yes,
whenever you
yes,
feel.
yes, yes, yes. We can start.
Yeah.
So before we go to habitat management and all, let us have a brief, quick look at the what Tadoba is all about.
Yes.
I would request you to go to first slide. So this all information is available there on public platform. So I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. This is how the journey of Tadoba happened, and currently it is around 1700 square kilometer area, which is a huge thing. And many people ask me, have you fenced the entire jungle? Well, practically it is not possible, but I would like to add here that we have fenced it, but the fence is a very unique kind of fence. It is a social fence.
Right.
The
Well said.
communities,
Yeah.
the communities are, actually the protectors, the fence for the sanctuary.
Correct.
We'll go to next slide. So, in a nutshell, this is what Tadoba is all about. It is not only uh, tiger. Tiger is only one part, the apex predator, no doubt, but it is only one part. And this is what
Yes.
all we have in Tadoba: more than 80 species of mammals, 280 species of birds, 54 species of reptiles, 125 species of butterfly, 667 species of plants. And please note, grass grasses are not included in this, and a lot of other
Okay.
things like fish, etc., are not included.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
this is the biodiversity of Tadoba. And yes, tiger, as I said, is the apex predator. Uh, when we say 80 plus, 90 plus, what does it mean? Plus is 80 is what we found in the camera traps, right?
Right.
It is,
Right.
this number is based on the actual images found in the camera trap, and plus
Right.
means on the basis of those numbers we estimate certain numbers. Small cubs are not included in these numbers. So,
Right.
having said that, this number is only about Tadoba Tiger Reserve, but the landscape is much bigger. If we
Right.
talk about Chandrapur district, we have around 200 plus tigers.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
leopards, sloth, bears, wild dogs, Indian doves, obviously, they are all there. And this is the conservation model we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it is
Right.
the inclusive model, which includes local communities. And the last point, which I was talking about,
Social
social
fencing.
fencing. And again, alternate livelihoods. It is not only about ecotourism. There are multiple other things. If you see in this picture, these are the tribal youths. uh, as you know, there are Gond tribals in this particular region of Maharashtra. So these youngsters were sent to Gujarat. We had a tie-up with Taj hotels, and these youngsters were trained in hospitality,
Oh wow.
all
Okay.
expenses borne by Tadoba.
Wonderful.
And now these guys, the boys and girls, they are ready to serve in hospitality industry. So
Wonderful.
likewise, we have multiple training sessions on multiple things. Yeah?
Acha.
So it is not only about hospitality, other skills like making agarbattis,
Right.
uh, makeup and tailoring, etc., etc. These trainings are also organized by Tadoba. This is all for local communities.
Amazing. Amazing.
And this is the ecotourism model we were talking about.
Right.
The infrastructure is also owned by locals. Like, for example, we have a mandate here that all the safari vehicles that go for safaris are owned by locals only. outsiders are not allowed. Very strict implementation. Yeah. Then
Okay.
there are, on local level, there are local advisory committees on which
Right.
some people are from forest department, some people are from local villages, and they
Right.
they decide how the ecotourism should be implemented, how the conservation will not be affected.
Correct.
That is the
Correct. Correct.
ecotourism model that we have.
Wonderful.
And this is the point where we were talking about habitat management. So
Right.
these are very specialized efforts taken by the forest departments. Uh, as tourists, what we see is a very rosy picture, right? But
Yeah.
in reality, behind the curtains, a lot of things are happening. Like you see in this particular image, these people are removing weeds. Point number 2 mentioned in my slide, they are
Correct.
removing weeds. uh, unless you remove weeds, the palatable plants and grasses won't grow. And if the palatable grasses are not there, uh, herbivorous animals will not come there, and obviously carnivorous animal will have an issue. So this kind of works are undertaken throughout the year. Please note,
Right.
all these works are very risky. You may
Yes.
see open land here, but that is not the fact. It is inside the jungle, it is inside the core jungle. So there is always a risk of attack by animals. Grassland development is where we deliberately collect palatable grass seeds and we disperse them on the huge land parcels, wherein so that the herbivores can have enough food within the forest area. Imagine if they
Right.
don't have enough food, they will raid the agricultural lands, right?
Correct.
And
Absolutely
you
right.
know who will follow them?
Yes.
They will be followed by tigers and leopards. So there
Right.
will be human wildlife conflict. To
Correct.
avoid that, this is very important part. And when you're sowing palatable grasses and plants, you have to remove weeds also. It is a very big problem all the tiger reserves are facing. Water management again is a very important issue, because as you know, uh, this part is Vidarbha, wherein you always have scarcity of water. Uh,
Right.
so department has made a lot of artificial water holes inside the jungles. So in within core we have around 134 water holes, in buffer 86 plus water holes, and then we have put in solar water pumps on it, so that there is no manual intervention.
Yes. I have
It
seen those.
operates
That
on
is
its
really
own. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah.
exactly.
Solar.
So it operates on its earlier. The water supply was done through the water tankers. That was there.
Right.
It was a manual intervention. Now it is not there. Solar water pumps are uh, installed. Then fire
Right.
management is a very big task, very huge task. Every summer, in most of the jungles in almost in the world, we have seen uh, uh, forest fire is a very big issue.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and for that we have to start our work immediately after the monsoon period. So what we
Right.
do is we create fire line, we divide the jungle in separate blocks. So if at all one block catches fire, it doesn't transfer to another block. Then
Correct.
we have a lot of watchtowers. We employ a lot of local villages as fire watchers. And if I give you an example, uh, uh, we have around 100 fire protection camps within the jungle. So
Okay.
24 by 7, they are monitoring the jungle just for fire.
Very
If
nice.
you get, if they get a single doubt of fire, of existence of fire anywhere, they immediately rush there and bring it to control. I mean, in last 2 3 years, I'm very happy to say that there has not been
Has
any
been,
big fire
yeah,
in
no fire.
this vicinity.
Yeah.
So
Correct. Correct.
this is another very important task that fire department, forest department undertakes.
Right. So just to say here, Anant, these are so wonderful 4 points that we never know about them. In the sense, we've just heard, but what really goes behind them, the efforts by the forest department. So it's just not
Absolutely.
what you see when you go on a safari, but
Yeah.
how much they have to put, in order to manage or the entire the forest per se.
Mm.
That is so important, like a fire, having a right fire management system in place. So,
Right.
and the weeds point was really wonderful. I mean, even for that matter, I came to know it first time. So that's really good. We'll move to the next slide.
This is Himangi, this is a very unique and novel concept. It is
Okay.
not fully implemented yet, uh, but I'm sure going forward it will actually help a lot in the conservation efforts. So what is it? It
Right.
is community nature conservancies. So especially in the regions like Vidarbha, a lot of land parcel is without usage, right? Uh, they are not plowed regularly, and some of them are uh, on the borders of jungle. So what we propose is just leave that land like that only. Yeah. As it is, the whatever you are getting out of it is very marginal, or
Right.
you are not doing any agriculture activity absolutely,
Right.
so you are not earning anything. So what
Right.
we'll do is we will get a private participation, some
Right.
a private company or somebody, and then they will create some facilities on that particular area. The
Okay.
rest of the area will remain as it is. So slowly, gradually, the forest will grow on its own. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the animals will get some extended area, some
Hmm.
extended space, that is more space for wildlife. And what
Okay.
will a farmer get? Farmer will get a regular annual income.
Right.
Currently he's not getting anything out of it. So
Right.
imagine, it is a win-win situation for both, for
Right.
wildlife, for farmers as well.
Correct.
So this unique concept is, we have just started implementing it. The picture that you can see in this slide is from Alizanza buffer gate, wherein these kind of camps are set up.
Okay.
And this is a private land, not a forest
Right.
land, but
Right.
it was not used for agriculture.
Right.
So this is just
Right.
an example. I'm sure going ahead, we will have many more such examples, and then wildlife will have much more
Right.
space.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. So, as we discussed about habitat management, this is another very crucial area wherein forest department puts in best of their efforts. They have lost best of their people also,
Hmm.
and still they are going on. So, what is it all about? First is monitoring. You have
Hmm.
to monitor wildlife. It is not that you don't know what is happening inside the jungle. You don't know who is coming, who is going, uh, who you don't know where the animals are wandering. No, you have to know. You don't know how many big cats are there. You need to know.
Right.
So that is the reason more than 500, 600 camera traps are installed inside the uh, jungle. And this installing these camera traps in itself is a risky task. You have to get down of the vehicle. As you see in the picture, this is the female bid guard that we have in Tadoba. She is installing a camera. So you have to get down of the vehicle, then you have to periodically check it. You have to download the images, and then you have to map it with the available data that you have. Then you decide which particular individual is the tiger that was captured on this particular camera.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
is it is a whole and lengthy process, and
Right.
no romanticism in it. It is very
Right.
dry and very risky process. Apart
Correct.
from that, this is machine, but apart from that, there is manual patrolling.
Right.
Our guards patrol on foot every
Right.
day, every night throughout the jungle. They have to be very alert, uh, from not only from any illegal human entrant, but from the wildlife also. So there have been many cases wherein wild animals have attacked our staff, and some people have lost their life also. Uh,
Okay.
I have already mentioned protection huts. We have 300 plus protection huts inside the jungle, 25, 24/7. It is manned by the local uh, villagers selected by the forest department, and they keep a very close watch on every happening inside the jungle. The
Right.
last point is very interesting. This particular Tiger Protection Force, Special Tigers, STPF as we call it, uh, it was mandatorily founded in all the tiger reserves of India. So so do we have it. Uh, this force is the elite force of department, like we have commandos, etc. So these are specially trained people. They patrol throughout the jungle 24/7, within the vehicle, on foot also, and uh, they they keep a very close watch. Like they will visit all the water holes. They will check the quality of water, whether it is poisoned. If on the fringes of the forest, if they hear that a tiger or a leopard has killed a cattle, they will immediately go and check the kill, whether the kill is poisoned. you know at the same
Mm.
time, they will also ensure that no illegal human activity is happening inside the jungle. So
Right.
their job is very crucial. Even during, and I'm very happy to share that a couple of times I have been with this particular force, and hats up to them, the way they are working, the harsh conditions they are working in. Like this is the end of monsoon season, all the roads, the small roads inside the jungles will be closed. They have to find that road. They have to clean it. During the monsoons, they have to travel through the neck deep waters. you know so it is a
Correct.
very risky and highly people don't know about it. It's a highly unknown kind of a job, but really hats off to them. It is because of them that we get to see all these tigers and leopards. You were asking me how did it happen. It happens because of these people.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, Anant, the audience or people like us who visit the forest for a tourist kind of a purpose, read in papers, newspapers about tigers,
Yeah.
deaths, missing, etc. But they also do not know what the forest department does on a daily basis to also protect them. Few things are out of our hand, which the nature, itself instigates, I would say. But I feel forest department tries its level best to,
Absolutely.
whatever,
Absolutely.
to conserve it. So
Absolutely.
these are the kind of a points which are for protecting the forest,
Absolutely.
basically.
Absolutely.
So the STPF that you mentioned, the force, I'm sure, I mean, it's a tough job because I myself I just went to in monsoons right now, and the roads were so bad that just sitting in a gypsy, it's difficult. So I can imagine
And you're
maneuvering
here
through
you're talking
the.
about
Hmm,
a motorable road.
exactly. Correct, correct. Move to the next, yeah.
Yeah, this is another very important
Yes.
aspect of conservation, and we do not have any quick solution to this problem. It is a big
Right.
problem, I must admit that. Having said that, uh, yet we are at Tadoba. Uh, we have been we have been very successful to manage it. So, what is this problem is all about? It is about the wildlife and uh, humans coming face to face and attacking each other occasionally.
Correct.
So, likewise, in the picture that you can see, the tiger is in a field. It is not
Right.
he's not in the jungle. So it
Right.
happens regularly. Uh, Obviously, as you mentioned in the beginning of this conversation, that the population of tigers has increased over the period of time. It is a good thing, but the side effect is they are roaming around. The
Right.
the size of the jungle, the size of the land that is available to them is limited. Uh,
Limited, yeah.
So where would they go? The tiger or the leopard, they are highly territorial animals. So they have to find their own way. So sometimes they come out in the fields, in the villages. But at the same time, human population has also grown tremendously. Who is
Absolutely.
talking about it?
Yes.
Right? It is not only about population, it is also about our greed.
Right.
We want everything for us.
Correct.
Every inch of land we want for us. Right? So our kettles are grazing inside the jungle. That is a big
Right.
problem. And another problem is compromised connectivity. That what does it mean? Uh, Unfortunately, what has happened is our jungles are have become islands.
Right.
Hardly there are corridors in between them.
That's the
How
point.
do you
Yeah.
expect an animal to travel from one forest to another?
Correct.
That is a very big concern. We see road kills every day. Have you left any place for them to cross the roads? You're building so many highways, but you have not kept any place to cross the roads. What do they do? So this
Correct.
has been happening regularly. Unfortunately, to give you a perspective, in Chandrapur district itself, between 2005 to March 2020,
Right.
there has been around 10,000 incidences of such conflicts.
Okay.
58% were out of that. In 58%, tigers were involved. So it is happening regularly. We can't deny that. But what to do about it? So I believe the uh, changing the mindset is the most important thing. And
Yeah.
on that front, Tadoba has made a great success. I'm very happy to tell you that yes, there have been incidences wherein tigers have killed humans
Right.
uh, around Tadoba. But having said that, I'm very happy to say that uh, at least last 2 3 years since when I am associated with Tadoba, I have not seen a single incident where a tiger is being killed by humans. It has never happened. That is, I think, very creditable,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So this is the solution to this problem, I guess. You have to learn to live with them, and
Absolutely.
you just coexist.
Yes,
And as I said, the corridor is the most important solution.
right. So just to give you an example, right now during my last Tadoba trip in
Yeah.
monsoons in September, we were roaming all around. I was at Kolara, towards on the other side, Kolara Papa, and we kept on moving for a tigress because we knew that she was in that area. And for 2 hours, we kept on circling, and there was cattle and there were farmers who were grazing, as you're saying,
Hmm.
that brought the cattle inside, very close to the gate, and the cattle kept on grazing there. Once the cattle moved from there, the tigress came out very late in the evening, so we could catch a glimpse of her for 5 minutes. The underlying point is, uh, the tiger does not purposely come and kill or attack.
Of course, of course.
At this point, people don't know. I mean, till the cattle was
I mean,
grazing,
yeah,
she didn't even come out from there.
absolutely,
So she was
absolutely.
also, concerned about why should she come out at that point of
Yeah,
time. Once the cattle left, she moved out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think, and they were it's so beautifully because she was right close to the gate. Immediately, the village starts from there, and she walked in the field thereby. But there has been no incidents of uh, like you said, a person getting killed or someone attacking or something like that. So equally, the tiger, until and unless you kind of instigate it for any kind of purpose, the tiger, I don't think is
Yeah, and Hemangi,
good.
the basic point is, uh, human being is not tiger's primary food.
Exactly. So
Would
this,
you go
yeah.
out and
Mhm.
eat stones? No, you would not.
No, yeah,
Right.
correct, correct.
Similar is the
Yeah,
case with him.
correct, correct.
It is
Also,
just in
this,
some unique situation it happens.
correct,
Most of the times it
correct.
is accident.
Yes.
And
Also, the point of corridors, I think Anand was very good that you mentioned, because people do not know that why the road kills happen. They feel just the animals are crossing by and maybe they're hit, or why do they come on roads? The humans think that, अरे ये animal इधर क्यों आया? अरे उसकी जगह है, it's his
Absolutely,
place.
absolutely.
And you are building the road on that, and you expect that animal not to come there. So it's completely, the corridors thing was a big, but they have beautifully done it in Pench when
Yeah.
we cross. So that is one big example that, you get to see where they've really shut they've created the corridor underneath so the animals can pass off. So this is another very good point. Yeah.
So in general, tigers are, I mean, to my experience, they are actually gentlemen or gentlewomen.
Exactly.
They are very
Completely
gentle.
agree. Yes.
As one of my directors of my organization, Dr. Prasad Kamath puts in, they are gentle people. We are the villains.
We are the correct. Yeah, correct.
So this is about, you were talking about the awareness,
Right.
creating awareness among masses.
Yeah.
So this
Can
is
I
a
add
small.
one thing before?
Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
you?
Please,
So
please, please.
Anand has started Tadoba Diaries, and this is a perfect communication channel. This is how should it. This really will encourage the right information. To people. So for the people to understand. So this is a very good initiative, Anand, that you've started. So you can just elaborate more.
Yeah.
On this.
So it is basically a concept by our field director, Dr. Jitendra Ramgaonkar. It was his concept.
Yes.
So during the COVID, I guess second lockdown, we
Right.
were talking on phone, and then he said, "What are you doing nowadays?" I said, "No, it's work from home, quite bored." So he said, "Can you come to Tadoba, but you have to come for a month at least." I said, "Wow, staying in Tadoba for a month? How could I reject that offer?" So I immediately packed up. I went, and then he briefed me that he had an idea of launching a newsletter, which I believe no other tiger reserve in India has. So we should do that, and then so that we can disseminate the information which usually even the wildlife lovers wouldn't know.
Right.
So I said, how do you want me to present it? He said, no, it is all your baby. You tell me how to do that. So I just put forward 2 points. One, it should not be about what department is doing, like typical, inauguration functions and new appointments, etc. It should not be typical government newsletter. Let us make it a magazine format. He immediately agreed to it. And the second point that I put forward was, let us not give it for free.
Yeah.
People would not value it. Let us keep it the lowest possible price, but let us not give it for free. He agreed to both the points, and then I started working on it during my more than 1 month stay in Tadoba. I worked on the concept. I worked on the content, and then I created a dummy also, which he liked very much. And then again, it took 6 months more to actually launch the edition. And finally, in December 2021, we could launch Tadoba Diaries in its current form. Earlier, it was a 12 pager, and now it is 16 pager. I'm happy to tell you that it goes across India. A lot of wildlifers have subscribed to this. And since last month itself, we have launched our digital edition also. So I'm sure it will go across globe now, as it will not have physical boundaries. So what is it all about? Uh, it is all about Tadoba, obviously, but there are different stakeholders of Tadoba, as we were talking about the safari guides, uh, the resort owners, the staff, the forest guards, and the seniors, um, our veterinary doctors, etc. And they interact with animals every day. They have very, very unique experiences. Of course, how can I forget the tourists? So all these stakeholders, for all these stakeholders, this is a platform to express their opinion, to share their experiences. And I'm happy to tell you that this particular image that you are seeing on your screen is by a Marathi actor called Suyash Tilak. Yeah, so he has captured this particular image, and I'm very happy to tell you that this image was used in a Canadian newspaper also. They mentioned Tadoba diaries, and they mentioned how good it is, etc., etc. So I believe people are reading it, and more than that, we are uh, I think more than 600 schools in Chandrapur, we are giving it for free to the students, so that they can read, they can, have a feel of jungle. Of course, Tadoba has in another plan, we bring these underprivileged students to Tadoba. We organize free of cost safaris for them. There are a lot of things happening. This is just one of it. Himangi, yeah,
Yeah. Just for the sake of the audience,
yeah.
how does one subscribe to this, or how do you get the copy?
Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry, I did not put a slide regarding that in this particular presentation. So for hard copy, you have to, transfer some 300 rupees. It's a very small amount for the annual subscription. Yeah, it is a
Okay.
monthly issue. So you will get the issue every month. For 12 issues, it will be 300 rupees, and there is a, specific account detail
Okay.
on which you have to transfer the amount, and the issue will come to your home every month by
All right.
regular post, no, general
Post.
post. We
Okay.
can't afford to send it by courier. And
Okay.
then for digital thing, there is a link, I can share it later, on
Okay.
which you have to just pay, and you will get the PDF version every month.
Okay. Okay. That's nice.
Of course,
So
and
maybe
on all the gates, the hard copies are available.
available. So you can put it at the end of the hour in some time, your
Absolutely.
number, or whichever number is contactable. So whoever wants to subscribe and take the
Sure, sure,
this thing, they can go ahead.
sure.
1 minute. Yeah.
So this
Dhanyavad.
is a
Okay. That's
typical
nice.
way of saying
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you in our
Thank you.
Tadoba
Yeah.
fashion.
Correct. 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 One last question from my end, and if there is
Yes,
anything in the chat box, I will take it up. So,
absolutely.
how do you personally see wildlife tourism evolving in the next 5 years? I mean, we have summed up a few things, but
Yeah.
what do you think? How do you
So,
see it
Himangi, it is
ahead?
not, yeah, yeah, it is not only about 5 years. Uh, we are planning for next 20 years actually.
Okay.
Big plan is being made, and yes, tourism, wildlife tourism is one of the major pointers. So I
Right.
believe uh, there is a huge scope uh, uh, of wildlife tourism in the process of conservation. uh,
Right.
a lot of new gates are being opened by Tadoba itself, and I believe the other tiger reserves will follow the model. Yeah,
Model. Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
it is not only about getting too many tourists. If tomorrow Tadoba says we are removing the cap on the number of vehicles that would go inside the jungle, just imagine what will happen. The money will flow in, but what will happen to the forest
What
and the
will
animals? So
correct?
we
Correct.
definitely don't want to happen. It
Right.
will be a limited tourism, controlled tourism. Having said that, I would emphasize that the tourism, especially the wildlife tourism, has to be very, very sustainable, right?
Correct.
As you know,
Correct.
Tadoba has banned water bottles inside the jungle.
Yes.
Tadoba has
Yeah.
banned mobiles inside the jungle. So these kind of measures are very important. And the organizations like Jungle Bells, I'm very happy to say that you are also very, very sensitive towards these issues. And the way you people are guiding your tourists. See tourists are they are tourists. I mean, they most of them come for the fun, for the sake of fun.
Right.
So
Right.
they need everything. They need mineral water. They need some kurkuras and something like that.
Yeah.
it is
Correct.
it is your responsibility to let them know कि boss ये आप शहर में कर रहे हो, you are doing it at your home, fine, but this is not your home, this is their home, this is the animals, the wildlife's home. You can't do it here. So I believe
Absolutely.
you have a major responsibility in this
Correct.
whole scenario.
Correct.
And yes, I mean,
Correct.
wildlife tourism has huge scope. but at the same time, it has to be very, very controlled
responsible.
and
Yeah, it's a
responsible.
responsible.
Yeah, absolutely,
Correct.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple of questions in the
Sure.
chat box.
Sure.
There is Omkar Patak. He says, "Hello, Anand sir. This is Omkar from Dombivli.
Hi,
My question
Omkar.
to you, is: Can government should government put more efforts towards stopping tiger and other animal deaths due to poaching and electric fencing, human mistakes that we call? Are we looking towards conservation from one angle only?"
I think government is putting, forest department is government. I mean, they are
Yes,
putting in efforts, and should they increase the efforts? Yes. I mean, who will say no? Yeah, they are putting in efforts.
correct. Correct. Another thing is Harshal Gauri. He says, "Keen to know if you noticed change in behavior of animals, especially tigers, over the period, like tigers becoming human friendly."
Okay, very nice question. So, yes, I mean, if you ask me personally, I have seen uh, tigers behaving very, very differently. Like us humans, they have their own nature, right?
Right.
So I have seen the cubs of the same tigress behaving completely differently, like like kids of a same mother behave
Mother.
differently. What
Yeah.
logic do you apply to it?
Right.
Same is the situation here. Having said that, yes, in the tourism area, the tigers are more friendly. If you want to call it friendly, yes, they are, but they are tigers. Don't mistake to take them as cats. They are not cats. They are
Correct.
tigers.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
they are a little comfortable with human around them. Uh, at the same time, the tigers in non-tourism area are usually shy.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, they are not used to humans around them. Yes,
Correct.
that, so this is the basic difference. I agree, but as I said earlier, uh, they have their own nature. Some
Correct.
tigers are aggressive, so they are aggressive.
Right.
Some tigers are shy, so they are shy. It happens.
Right.
The most famous, the most tourism tourist friendly tigress may have a very shy cub.
Got
Possible.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One more. We have Niranjan. Since you mentioned there are around 20 gates, just curious to know how many visitors are allowed to enter for a safari. Just asking because too much crowd in single safari isn't good either. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe I have already answered this
Right.
question partially.
Right.
Uh, there is a strict limitation on the number of tourist vehicles. I have said that we have 20 plus gates, but mind well, not all 20 gates have some 20-25 vehicles entering into it. No.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
your main gates like Moharli, Kolara may have some 20-25 vehicles, but other gates like Pangdi, etc., they have hardly one or two vehicles allowed.
Right.
So
Correct.
yes, this care has been taken that the jungle is not crowded with the vehicles. Yes.
So you had made a statement of Prasad sir. So he mentioned the same thing. As they say,
Yeah,
tiger is
absolutely.
gentleman,
Absolutely.
the villains are humans. That's what he says. Sanjay Deshpande says, "Thanks, Anant. What city people can do to assist Tadoba warriors via us, via Jungle Bells, or other people in general? So, what can they do to help
Yes, yes. Hi,
Tadoba?"
Sanjay ji. So,
Mhm.
as I already said, people like you, personally, I know personally Sanjay ji, and the organizations like Jingle Bells have a lot of responsibility. What city people can do is, I believe they should and they must visit jungles like Tadoba. Why only Tadoba? I mean, we have huge jungles across India. They must visit those jungles, like with people like you, like Jungle Bells and all, and they should sensibly, responsibly see what we have. People don't know. many a times I'm amazed that people just feel that, oh, how can you take a safari in the open gypsy?
Yes.
How come tiger is not eating you?
Yeah.
It never happens. I mean, uh, please correct me if I am wrong. I have not come across a single incidence across India wherein a tiger has attacked a tourist vehicle. It has never happened. So, yeah, tiger may have charged. Most of the times it is a mock charge, we all know. But tiger has never attacked.
Never
So
right.
people have lot of misconceptions. Yeah.
Right.
So I urge city people to please visit these jungles, uh, especially with responsible people like you, and
Right.
get a feel of it. I'm
Right.
sure you will fall in love with it.
Correct. Correct. And Anand, for our as regards to jungle pets also, we completely believe that if the forest gives something to you back, it gives us fresh air, oxygen, it gives
Absolutely.
us media detox or
Yeah,
social
there are lungs.
detox.
There are lungs.
Their lungs, correct. So you come back with such a lot of positives. You get
Absolutely.
back. So it's not because you get something, you give something, but out of the sheer this thing that what can you give back? So A is one, responsible tourism, and I personally believe that if you help the forest people who work for the forest, like the forest
Bilkul.
guards,
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely. I agree.
guards, gypsy drivers who are protecting the forests
Absolutely.
overall, that
Absolutely.
is in a way what you can do sitting here. You can't go
Absolutely.
yourself and be on the this thing and work there, but smaller things, what their needs are. If you want to put any kind of forest reserve like a Tadoba still on a global map, which is very with attracting a lot of foreign tourists, then what
Mhm.
should a guide or a gypsy driver have? It should have a binoculars. They should have a binoculars. They should
Absolutely.
be well
Absolutely.
dressed.
Absolutely.
So for all this, they also need everything forest department can't do. It has
Absolutely.
limitations.
Absolutely. It
So
has
what you
its own
can do,
limitations.
you can give a smaller donation. They need bottles in summers or in for water, or in winters they need sweater kits or things like that. So an urban person can always contribute in this way. I personally feel that, and we always work towards it. One last question Niranjan is asking: what is the difference between core and buffer? And then we will close it.
Okay. Okay. So, Niranjan ji, you must have been to temple. Uh, in Marathi, we call it Gabhara, where the actual statue of the god or goddess is there, right? So that is the core of jungle. So it is the important main part of wildlife habitat, which is completely protected. No human intervention, no human activity is allowed in this particular core area. You just can't walk in, period. You just can't enter that area. That is the core area. Buffer, wherein you have some limited human activity allowed. There are villages inside the buffer. They live with the animals and wildlife, and you are allowed to roam around in that particular area, being a villager, of course, not as a tourist. Uh, but in core, you can't do that. That is the basic difference. Both are jungles, and mind it well, animals do not differentiate. They don't know what is core, what is buffer. They don't know the boundaries. This differentiation is for us.
For us, yeah. I'll just read through Uma's questions because you've already answered them most probably. So how can individuals like me collaborate with forest officials and work with them at grassroots level? I'm
Yeah.
in Tadoba every 15 days and want to do something at the ground level. So do you want
So
to,
just very briefly, I would say, Umaji, uh, we all of us have some specific skill sets, right? Uh, and every task, every big thing needs essentially two, three things: money, time,
right, right,
manpower,
right.
right? And fourth,
No,
I would add is skill. You give whatever you have. Like I have been a career journalist throughout my career. I I I know only about communication. I'm not a wildlife expert. I do not have any qualification with respect to wildlife. How do I contribute? I was thinking on the same lines. What can I do? So I am giving my communication skills to Tadoba.
Right. Right.
So you decide what you want to do. There is huge scope. Department needs a lot of hands. They have their limited staff.
Yes. Correct.
They need everybody.
Correct.
So you are welcome, most welcome.
Well said. Prasad sir says, I would request each person visiting a forest sanctuary to come back and spread the message of conservation. You need to become the conservation warriors after you have seen and enjoyed the forest, which is so well said. I completely agree.
Absolutely, Prasad sir.
Yes, yeah. And so Anant, we come to the end of the webinar. I would request Sanjay Deshpande. He wanted, to share the vote of thanks for such an amazing session.
Hi Anand.
Hi
Good to
Sanjay
see
ji.
you. Hi.
Same here.
And most important thing, which many of them may not be knowing, that some just a decade or more than that, you were not knowing anything about forest. And look at you now. You can give analogy of Pandharpur to Tadoba. So
that comes directly from heart. I mean, I can't help it.
I can very well understand that, because see, I myself being privileged from Vidarbha and that to near Melghat. So to get connected with wildlife is very easy for me, because I grew up looking forest around. But specifically for Hemangi and you who have never been, because this I know from my experiences, because most of my friends who are from Pune and Bombay, for them Mahabaleshwar forest is the densest forest they ever know.
Absolutely.
All
It happens,
about in Mahabaleshwar is the
no
forest.
wonder,
Indeed, Mahabaleshwar is part of Western Ghat, and it has got some good forests also, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. But what is the raw wildlife? That unless and until you don't go to Vidarbha or Central India, you don't realize it. And,
I agree.
And to get connected, I really am hats off to your work and dedication is all I can say. May there be more and more, Anant, because that's a link, like people like you, Hemangi, Arti, it's a link between. That is real Samruddhi Marga for wildlife, I will say. Connecting Bombay.
Very well said. Very well said.
Yeah. So that may such more and more Samruddhi marks to our wildlife be thrive and be built and be strong. And there are few issues regarding. See, now what is happening? It's like the more major concern of man-animal conflict. That is there, that is bound to be there. Means everywhere we go, we can see that, because population are increasing and all these things. Speaking about Tadoba as such, I think the biggest conflict is between wildlife tourist and Tadoba itself, because everyone wants to be there and hardly few can go there. So that is something we will have to work it out. Why I say this? Because as you rightly said, unless and until people don't go to forest and see actual tiger roaming in, I had been watching tigers since my childhood, so I have seen enough of them, and the appetite is still not over. It won't be ever.
Still, it is not enough.
Still, it is not enough, and that's how Jim Corbett has described to watching tiger in wilderness. But unfortunately, it's like now becoming Indian Railways that whenever I want to book a railway ticket, it shows full. So I get frustrated with railways. I think I'm not saying to build pressure on Tadoba management or any other wildlife management, but we can definitely think of opening more and more non-tourism areas. See, as we all know, the tigers have been seen all across the Chandrapur district now.
Absolutely.
Means Madhuri is now being seen in that mines area.
Yeah.
So where there is nothing is there. So why can't we work out something? This is not a question. This is just a suggestion. I know there are a lot of things involved, but you guys are linked to forest department as well as cities and as well as in tourist. So even those, and I know there has been efforts being taken by forest department. But just to update listeners also, there are a lot of non-tourism areas where tigers are seen, and the locals over there also can have some daily earnings out of that. So
Bilkul, I agree.
definitely for that, anything you need, because anything to operate out of park is a very difficult. I understand that, and very few people understand that aspect, because forest department has got a very limited role in doing that. But there, the organization which are not like even Jungle Bells, but I work. My profession is builder. So organizations like Credai or those which are actually having very large network with the people, urban people. Do let us have a common platform, and Tadoba Diaries can be a very big role to go to these kind of organizations also. And definitely, I will like to help you on those fronts.
Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. You're most welcome.
Yes, and keep doing all such work. And as I say, anytime ever you need any assistance from our side, it's the most welcome thing. Thanks a lot for such a wonderful session, which by sitting in Pune, I could live those moments for 1 hour again. That tiger in the field, I believe it is from Junona Buffer. It's every frame is in my mind. So thanks a lot, and I'm sure for many those who are watching and those who will be watching on YouTube also, do watch. Those who missed this session, do watch on YouTube also. And thanks a lot, Anand. Stay connected.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you for
Thanks a lot,
inviting me,
Jungle
Hemangi,
also.
Madhulika.
Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Jungle
thank you.
also.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Sanjay.
Thank you very much.
So the link of the webinar will be available on the YouTube if anyone has missed today and would want to watch it later. And Anant, you can just send us, maybe we can put it up, your Tadoba Diary subscription number.
Sure, I'll send it. I'll send you definitely.
Thank you once
Thank you,
again.
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.